Hey everyone, welcome to my deck profile for Reindeer. So now that Diva Fiesta has come out and the new Reindeer has come out, I thought I would do my deck profile for Reindeer because I have a very interesting take on her. So obviously we use the new starter, Restful Music Rumie. Basically, when you drive check grade 3, you can choose one of your cards with Reindeer in the drop zone and put it in your hand. And once per turn, her act ability is choose a grade 3 from your hand and discard it, draw a card. And if you have Vanguard with Reindeer in its name, you may pay the cost and put her in the soul and counterblast 1. Countercharge. Counterblast is very important in this deck, so that's why you run her. And now what makes this deck very interesting, it's basically a 20 Crit Raindear deck. So we run Dinky Echoes, which is Reindeer starter, which basically counts as a grade 3 when we draw checker. This one is the new 0 power crit. Basically, her DP2 is counterblast 1, return her to her hand. When she boosts a unit, double that power, and if it has a GB2 ability, it gets crit. So that's very useful. That one, put in the soul, countercharge 1. Again, soul and counterblast is important, and then just Chouchou crit to round out the triggers because I like that one. And grade 1s. I run 4 of the damage and flipping perfect cards, Kukuri, but I only have one set, so I bounce it between all my different Bermuda decks. 2 of the Stride Enabler, basically digit to Stride, and Dash Sister's Rabel. Basically, when you drive check her, she counts as a 3 if I have a Reindeer Vanguard, and when you drive check reveals a 3 and she's on the field, you can put her back in your deck and draw a card, and then countercharge 1. Hopeful. Well, then we run 4 the Piping Hot Souffle. Basically gives Velvet Voice Reindeer an extra 1,000 when she was only a 10, but now since she's an 11, she's going to be a 12, which is great. And then her second effect, which I don't use too often, is when you drive check a grade 3, your Vanguard's Reindeer, which it always is. Basically, move her to an open rearguard at the same column and stand it, and it gets plus 4,000. I don't use that effect really. So since we're not running heal triggers, we run 4 of the new Shandee. Attractive Glow Shandee. Basically, from your hand, ditch her to G-Guard. That's how we get around not having heals. And then 4 of Inspect Sisters, Romel, whatever. Basically, when she's in the trigger zone, counts as 3, and soul charge 1 and put her at the bottom. You draw 2, and you shuffle. So we'll put that there. And then 3 happy ears, because I have nothing better to put in that slot. And now on to the 3s, which we have 4 of the new Reindeer. So her new effect is, well, she has 2 new effects in general. Basically, choose a card from your hand and discard it. When your drive check reveals this card, basically, choose one of your units with Reindeer. So it could be her, or if you have her on the rear guard, we'll get to her in a second. And she gets plus 5,000 and a crit until end of turn. So that's where the 12 crits come in with her. And basically, when she's placed on Vanguard or when you stride, choose one of your units, and when your drive check reveals 3, it gets 5,000 power until end of turn. And then we have Peaceful Voice Reindeer. So we'll start with the top effect. It is basically when your drive check reveals a 3, and if you have Velvet Voice Reindeer in the soul, which is her, you get an additional drive check. And you can choose up to 1 unit and bounce it, which is good. And her effect is when she's on the rear guard. At the end of the battle, that unit reveals a card with Reindeer, so it needs to have Reindeer in the name, so one of these 2. You can counterblast 2 to put her on the Vanguard and stand her, but she loses 1 drive check. So that's the only downside. But if you happen to do on your OneDrive check this card for Reindeer, you can basically, and if you have her in the soul, you can get additional drop check, which is handy. And now on to the G Zone, which you basically need the 4 Reindeer strides and you're good. So here's Top Idol Megiddo. The printing on this card is atrocious. Just like this whole set in general, the printing quality is crap, as you can see. Gotta love it when your really expensive card looks like crap. Thank you, Bushy Red. And then we have 4 Sonic Gracious Reindeer. So her thing is when she drives Chet's a grade 3, you can Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, choose a Rearguard, bounce it, and if I can't talk, but whatever. Basically, again, she gets plus 3,000 power and a drive. So you can bounce something back. Like if your grade 2 Rumble Sister didn't hit, just basically bounce her back and hopefully try again next turn. So we have 4 of her. Reindeer is very pretty. And then we have 4 G Guardians. We have Shandee from Fighter's Collection, which basically is GB1. When she's placed in Rearguard, flip another G Guardian, and she gets 5,000 power for every 2 cards. Which with Bermuda you build a hand, so it's pretty handy. And then Counterblast 1 if you don't have enough to just get an extra 5k. Then we have Leona. When she's placed on Guardian Circle, bounce a card back, and if you do, call a card, and if it's the same card, she gets an extra 5k shield. So she's handy. And then we have 2 Elly. The new Elly. Basically, GB2, when this card is put into your G-Zone face up, you may pay the cost. Soul Blast 1, turn her face down. So what I normally do with Elly and Shandee, basically play Shandee first to flip an Elly. And then next time you G-Guard with Elly, Soul Blast 1 to flip her face down. So it fulfills the fact of having GB2 for this Elly and that. Or you could flip a Leona, but I don't know. Leona I find is useful, and 2 Elly is fine. And again, with this printing, you can see, if my camera will focus, that this Elly has a blue mark on her. So the quality for this set is definitely questionable. It's not questionable at this point, it's no doubt. So I want to thank you for watching my deck profile on Reindeer with 20 crits. I should have deck profiles up for Shizuku and my new Riviera deck, and then possibly Pacifica. So I hope you have a good day. Thanks for watching.